Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. We're talking about something different today. We're going to talk about 2026 NFL draft quarterbacks, although just as we've beaten the Jalen Ramsey trade into the ground the other day, I feel like over the next year, we're going to beat this one into the ground too. But nonetheless, here we go. I have seen a lot going around about the 2026 NFL draft quarterback class. People arguing about who's better. Our own Derek Bell has put rankings up on the site. He likes Fernando Mendoza, who is transferring from Cal to Indiana this year. And I wanted to weigh in with my opinion. And so these are my official 2026 NFL draft quarterback rankings as of right now, July 8th. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody has, honestly, a clue. If you want to argue that Arch Manning is the best prospect right now, I don't think I would disagree with you. In fact, if I had to rank them, I would probably put Arch Manning first, even though he's thrown all of 100 passes at the college level, because I think if Arch Manning comes out, it is because Arch Manning is the number one overall pick. And I think that people will say, oh, the name doesn't matter. The name does matter. Genes do matter. There's a reason the Steelers have targeted over years players who were familiar to the NFL in one form or fashion or another. It does matter. I would put him first, but I would not argue with you if you wanted to say you like Drew Allar better. I think Drew Allar obviously has a better track record. I wouldn't argue if you wanted to say you think LaNorris Sellers is better. I think Sellers is probably the best athlete of any of the players that look like they're going to be available. I think Sellers is probably the most electric player. He's the one that looks like he has real game-breaking potential of the rest of this group. But if you wanted to say Cade Klubnik is better, I mean, you look at the results and you look at Sellers' turnovers, I don't think I can argue with you. I don't think I could argue with you if you said you like Garrett Nussmeier's chances of figuring it out at the NFL better than LaNorris Sellers because Nussmeier's father is an NFL offensive coordinator. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. Maybe you like Mendoza. Maybe you like Nico Iamaleava, even though he's transferring to UCLA, which ought to be a death sentence. We'll see. But I'm not writing him off. The thing about the 2026 NFL draft class is not the order. The order doesn't matter. The order now is certainly wrong. The order on draft day next April in Pittsburgh will also certainly be wrong. There's a 100% chance that the quarterbacks next April will not be drafted in the correct order by NFL teams that between now and then are going to spend millions of dollars trying to figure out the correct order. It will not happen. So, my opinion now really doesn't matter. What does matter is that it looks like it's a really good class. There are a lot of really good players available at the top of this class. I'm not going to argue over which of the 6 or 7 names that I just listed out are best, but I think they're all, if they're all in the draft, more likely than not right now, first round draft picks. That's notable. That's impressive. We'll see how they shake out. And then, of course, not all 7 of them will get there. Arch may go back to school. Nico may discover that the sun is not brighter in California. Whatever. Somebody gets hurt. Sellers doubles his turnovers. You know, plenty of things can happen. Almost all these guys have the potential to go back to school. So there's lots of things that can happen. But there's another huge group of guys that can play their way up here. Sam Levitt, Carson Beck, John Mateer, Taylor Green, Miller Moss, Haynes King, Darian Mensah, Eli Holstein, Jackson Arnold, Jalen Daniels, Connor Wade. Like, any of those guys could be first-round picks with a good year, too. So, yeah, maybe one of those 7 or 2 of those 7 or even 3 or 4 of those 7 won't be there. But there's just as good a chance that there's 10 or 11 if guys in that second group play their way up. So, to me, it is about the Steelers targeting a deep group of talent and not one player. They shouldn't be targeting one player even on April 26th next year because you're probably wrong. Most of the time, you're wrong. You got to find a place where there's a bunch of talent. So we had a question here that is on the same wavelength that I do want to get to. And basically the idea here is you're not targeting one player you're targeting a group of players, a group of talent. And that's what the Steelers did with offensive line the last couple of years. They targeted a group of tackles. Troy Fautanu happened to be the one that fell to them. It could have been Amarius Mims instead. They would have taken him. They weren't specifically targeting Troy Fautanu. They could have taken several players beside Derek Harmon this year. They were just targeting this group of first-line defensive linemen. So Dylan Smith wants to know assigns point value to every draft pick and could give me an idea where the Steelers could reasonably trade up to for a quarterback. Yeah, the chart I like when you're talking about draft trades the best is the Rich Hill chart at drafttech.com. And so the Steelers, the thing is you can't really answer this question because we don't have any idea where the Steelers are going to finish. The Steelers can lose in the AFC Championship game and draft 30th. The Steelers could also have 7 wins and draft 10th. If they have 7 wins and they draft 10th, they probably don't need to trade up at all. But let's just give some context about what it costs, generally speaking, to go up in these areas. And a real easy one here is to go from 20 to 10 on that Rich Hill chart is 100 points. 100 points is pick number 55. So you need to a first and a second will get you from 20 to 10, according to Rich Hill. In my experience, it's probably a little bit more than that. Steelers paid, I think it was a second, a third, second, a future third when they did that trade 20 to 10 exactly in 2019. But that's how the points lay out, is that 20 to 10 cost you a second round pick. If the Steelers want to get inside the top 10, the numbers start to go up dramatically. So 10 to 5 is another second round pick or a future first round pick. A future pick is always going to be worth one round less. So for the Steelers to get to 20 to 10, that would be their 20 and then their second round pick. And then to get from 10 to 5, it would be their 2027 first round pick. So they want to get to 5 and they're at 20. You're talking about 2 firsts and a second. First this year, first next year, and this year's second. There are lots of ways you can structure those too. You don't want to trade the second, just trade 2/3. Third round picks are between 76 and 35. So 2/3 is worth about the same as the second. Steelers have an extra third from the George Pickens trade, so they can keep their second, trade a first and 2/3, move from 20 to 10, and pick this 6th quarterback off the board, who, as we just got done saying, is still a really good player. That's a perfectly viable solution. I do not think the Steelers will think they need to trade up into the upper reaches of the draft. I don't expect them to have a top 5 pick. I don't think they will trade that far. I think somewhere in the 5 to 10 range, because it is a deep quarterback class, will get you the kind of player that you need. And again, lots and lots and lots of players taken in that range do just well for themselves. You don't need to get to number 1. Number 1 has been bad, actually, the last few years, but Josh Allen was 7. Lamar Jackson was 32. Jordan Love was in the 20s. Mahomes, 10. 5 to 10 gets you there. And so, depending on where the Steelers finish, you're probably looking at trading a second round pick plus, second and third, or future first, or something of that nature. All right, that's all I got for this morning. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till the afternoon drive, just about 6. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and enjoy.